The metrics have absolutely changed. These are real metrics. These are metrics that we look at on our scorecard every quarter for IBM. We measure employee happiness. We measure it weekly. And we have massive data pulls on this. And let me tell you, it's incredible when you start having employees weekly telling you how happy they are. And you see, we all know mood goes down during quarter close. We get it. But it's more than that, right? Because we're seeing consistently mood improving as you're creating more valuable work for people. They're now more engaged with their job. And you're measuring that through happiness, through employee engagement that we're doing monthly. You can see when a transformation initiative happens, you can see that the employees like it. They appreciate it. They don't have to do that, that menial job that they hated doing. And we can see stopping doing that. They no longer have to do that meeting that they didn't think was adding value. And they see the results of them being part of that change. Lucy just about kind of having ownership and responsibility and having people become part of that change and become their own advocates. We see this now, and they see the direct results of their advocacy for change in the company, and you see it measured. We're also measuring things like time spent on strategic work. So I'll give you a real number here. In 2020, in IBM, we ended the year on 14% of our time, of our finance organization's time, being spent on strategic work. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot. You say, oh, man, that should be like 30 or 40%. I mean, look, I challenge you to do better, but that'd be great if you did. But the best part is we know that number now, and we know that it doubled during the year. It started the year off at about 7-8%. And by the end of the year, we had doubled the amount of time that our people are spending on strategic work. And look, we also like the amount of time spent on journal entries, and nobody likes journal entries, right? Like I'm an accountant by education and trade, and they're the worst thing in the world, right? But and often very low value add activity, right? So through automation of journal entries, through thinking about why are we doing these journal entries, through changing around close, through clip level adjustments, through reordering and looking at critical path around month-end close, as part of our agile work. And what that does is it removes the amount of time we're spending on journal entries. And if you look as well, we also measure agile maturity. So much like I talked about before, we can look at a leader and how effective they are. We can measure that not just through their employee happiness and engagement. We can measure it through the maturity of the organization. We can measure it through the time spent on all these things. We have a metric now, not just for the whole organization. We can look squad by squad within these agile teams, start comparing them, contrasting them. Who's performing best practices? How can we take that and leverage it over here? Who's the most mature in terms of agile processes? How can we leverage it over here? We're now able to see that.